In this tutorial, I'll be talking you through how to make a housing for the PIC programmer. So we're going to do that in several ways. So I'm going to go to SolidWorks. I'm going to start by making the circuit board. So I'm going to go File and New, and I'm going to select a part. Say OK. Now I've just measured the circuit board, and it's 28mm by 33. So I've opened a new part, and I'm going to start with a sketch. So I click on Sketch and then Sketch again, and I'm going to select the top plane. I'm going to do a corner rectangle, and I always go from the center point. This is what we call the origin, with the kind of center of this L shape, and I'm going to start drawing from there. So just click and sort of move my mouse away, okay, and that'll be fine just like that. Okay, doesn't matter kind of the shape of the rectangle to start with, okay, because once I put the smart dimensions in, that's going to sort of put it in correctly. At this point, before we put any dimensions in, just check in this corner here that your unit system is in mmgs. If it's saying IPS, that means it's in inches. You just need to click there and change that to mmgs so it's back to the right one, okay, before we actually start putting some dimensions in. Let's put those dimensions I mentioned earlier. So I go to Smart Dimensions up here at the top left, and I grab that top line there, and it is, just have a quick look now, so there's 28mm across by, and I'm just going to grab a side here, by 33 down. Okay. It just appears to have gone off the screen, so I'm just going to select this button here which says Zoom to Fit. So I'm just going to click there, and that'll put that right back in the middle of my screen so that I can see exactly what I've drawn. Okay, so I've just done a rectangle at the moment, 33 by 28. I'm going to come out of the sketch view, so top left here, and go Exit Sketch. And I'm just going to extrude that. So to make that 3D, I'll make sure I select Sketch 1 down here, go to Features, Extrude, and I want to say change that to 2mm. Okay, and just make sure I say OK. Alright, so that's my little board. So I'm going to go over here to the little beach ball which says Appearances, and I'm going to change that. If I go under Appearances to Plastic, I've just gone for Soft Touch, and in there's a Soft Touch Green. So if I just double click, that makes my board green. Okay, which is kind of close enough to what my board looks like. Okay, as an extension task, what you could do if you wanted to, if you're so inclined, if you go into the Open Drive, so Start Computer Open Drive, and if I go into, so where's Open Drive? So My Computer, Open Drive, into Design Engineering, into Year 8, and PIC License. Inside there is a photo, a plan. Now if I open that up and look, this is a picture from Circuit Wizard of all the different parts. What we could do is you could actually copy that into SolidWorks. So just right click copy into SolidWorks. Let's make this back to being a plan, which is just the top view. So I've just gone up to here to the view and said top. Okay, and I can just go right click, actually I'll just go Control and V for paste. If all things are working, that should actually just paste a picture of the thing, of the circuit board inside, and what I can do is I can move it over there and actually could draw around, if I wanted to, all the different parts, which I could actually individually exclude. Okay, however, this is going to be fine for what we're doing at the moment. Okay, so I'm just going to save that, and I'm going to call this, so save as, I'm going to call this PCB underscore PIC underscore board. Okay, so I've made my first part. Alright. Now, because I want to make several parts and put them together, what I really want to do is bring this into an assembly. Okay, so I can actually see how the bits fit together and how they're working, etc., etc. Okay. Right, there you go. Sorry, my computer was being a bit slow there. I wasn't sure if it was going to save. So I'm going to close off this part. Now, not the top X, because that will close the program, but just the second one down here, just to close the file. And I'm going to start a new assembly. So I'm going to go File, and New, and Assembly, and say OK. And the first thing it'll do, it'll pop up and say, right, what would you like to bring into that? So I'm just going to select that thing I've just made, which is the PCB PIC board, and go Open. Okay, and the idea of this is going to give us options that we can actually put the bits together, see how they look together, see how they fit. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I brought that part that we just made into assembly, and I'm going to save that again. Okay, just make sure I save that. And I'm going to call this. I'm just going to call this PIC housing, and save. Okay, so I've made that part and I brought it into an assembly. Now the next thing I really want to do is actually bring in the LEDs, because obviously our 3 LEDs are going to be an integral part of our housing, because we want to make sure that whatever we design, that those 3 LEDs, whatever colours we choose, are going to fit through there, and this circuit board is going to fit okay on the back. So to find those LEDs, they're actually on our area. So if we go to Start in Computer again, okay, and if we go, so Start Computer, the Open Drive, Design Engineering, Year 8, PIC License, you'll see there's these 3 files here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab those 3 files there. So I'm just going to select the 3 of them. Okay, just using I just use my Shift button. I'm going to right click and go Copy. And I'm going to bring those into my own area. So I'm going to go to my folder, into Design Engineering, and I'm just going to go right click and paste. Okay, now if I have a quick look at those 3 files just quickly, you'll see there's actually 2 parts to that and an assembly. Okay, so this is an assembly file. Alright, and that's the one that I'm going to actually bring into my other assembly. So that's how I go at doing that. So back to SolidWorks here. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go to Assembly, Insert Components, and I'm going to bring in the one that says LED Montagem. So that's the SolidWorks assembly, not the part. So click on there and say Open. And obviously I'll need to do this 3 times because I want the 3 LEDs in. So that should come in just a second. Okay, so it's my first one. And I'll do the same again. So Insert Components, LED Montagem, and Open. And there's 2, and 1 more for luck. Okay, so now I've got the 3 LEDs, okay, so that I can now put a housing on there and actually kind of put these through and see how they're going to look, how it's all going to fit together, etc. Okay, so again I'm just doing a quick save on there. Okay, and save all. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start designing the actual housing. So I've got these 2 bits here, so I'm going to start a new part, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of being able to make a kind of Christmassy themed housing that we can put these 3 LEDs through. Okay. So once that's finished saving, I'm just going to go File, New, and Part. Okay. So File, New, and Part. Okay. And right, so from here there's 2 ways that I can think of that would be quite good for you to be able to draw in a your housing. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first one. So this is just the easiest one. I'm just actually just physically drawing something with lines and curves and things. So sketch, sketch, click on the top plane again. Okay, and I can just sort of use the line tool, and I can maybe just sort of start drawing there. Again, always draw, if you can, to start with, from that the orange circle. Okay, there are some sort of clues to kind of help you when you're drawing. Okay, so you can see that it's kind of linked a nice straight line across there for me. Okay, so I can kind of draw a little shape like this. Okay, again, it's just trying to help me by lining things up. Okay, so I can do a little housing. That's a bit bigger, isn't it? And then I can bring that all the way across. Okay, I think you get the idea, is that I'm just drawing. Obviously I could use circles if I wanted to, if I wanted like a little snowman or something along those lines. Up to there. And across to there. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is I'm going to have to obviously put the LED holes in. So I'm going to go to circle. I'm just going to do, let's do one here. Okay. Now, when I draw a circle in, okay, it's going to ask me down here, what is the radius? Now, the LEDs we use are 5mm diameter, so we need to half that, so 2.5 will give us the radius. Okay. Say OK. And I'm going to draw another couple of those. Let's draw one up there. And again, just draw the circle and then just change it 2.5. And I know it's exactly going to fit my LEDs that I'm using. Okay. Alright. Okay. Now, obviously, I need to put some smart dimensions on there just to give me an idea of kind of how big that's going to be. So straight away, it said, what would you like to be? So that it already knows that these ones are 5mm, so I can just put those in. The diameter sign, that little circle with a line. So I'm just clicking the outside of the circle and dragging it away. Let's do this bottom line here. Okay. Now, that's a bit big. I'm kind of limiting myself really. I want to say try and do your thing at kind of within 100 by 100. So I'm just going to say 100. So that's made that a little bit smaller. Obviously I can grab this line here and just bring that one in, so that's saying it's 33, it looks a bit odd, so maybe if I say 20, that should bring that a little bit better, that's looking better. Okay, and I can just kind of go around and just select the lines and just check that everything's okay, and ideally I'd go around every single line, and I'm looking for, at the bottom here, it's saying fully defined. What I am going to put in there as well, I'm just going to put a little hole here so I can run a bit of string through. So I'm going to do one more circle just near the top. Okay. Actually, I'm going to push escape because I've kind of drawn it in the wrong place there. So I'm just going to go back to again, triangle, and just draw a circle in there. That's fine. And let's just say, what should we say this is going to be? Let's say 2mm diameter. So that should be 1.5. Let's do 1.5 radius, and that gives us a diameter of 3. Okay, so that's a big enough hole that we'd be able to actually run a bit of string through there. Okay, so I've got 3 holes for my LEDs. Okay, I can go exit sketch, and now I can go features, extrude, select on the outside there, and we always pick 3mm. Because that's just the depth material we have, so whether we're using a laser ply or acrylic or just MDF. Okay, so I've got that bit there. I'm now going to save this. I'm going to call this my housing. Save. Now, before I kind of run out of time, the other way of being able to do this using auto trace, I'm just going to very quickly show you. If you go to Born to Invent and go into the Year 7 SolidWorks topic, go to week 5, and then strangely week 6, there is a video, okay, that shows you here another tool called auto trace, which will actually show you how to draw around a silhouette. So if you're not great at drawing, actually fancy just finding a nice image, that would do. Okay, once I've got that, then I can actually bring that now into my assembly, and I should be able to